One of the biggest mistakes I see copywriters trying to take their freelance business to a premium copywriting business making, the wrong lead gen strategy. So today I'm sharing the 9, yes, count them, 9 lead gen mistakes you might be making and why it might be the thing preventing you from consistently signing those 10K or more contracts. Okay, when I first sat down to film this video, I couldn't stop talking, so it was really long. So we actually split it up into 2 videos. So the first part you're gonna get today, that's gonna be the lead gen mistakes you might be making and why they're not working for you. And then in a couple of weeks, you're gonna wanna make sure to subscribe because I'm going to drop part 2 where I tell you what to actually do instead so that you can consistently attract high-end clients and then get those high-end contracts. Hi, I'm Brittany McBean, and I built a multi-6-figure copywriting business in less than 2 years. And now, 4 years in, I teach copywriters just like you how to take their freelance business and build a premium copywriting business without sacrificing their quality of life, autonomy, or their values. Today, we're going to talk about why your current lead gen strategy may not be working and how to attract those high-paying clients instead. This isn't the how to find your first client video. This is for the copywriters burnt out, still undercharging for their work, ready to take their business to the next level and start working with those higher paying clients who value and understand their work, their expertise, and their boundaries. If your strategy to make more money in your copywriting business looks like step 1, raise your prices, you may not have all of the pieces of the puzzle because the truth is a different level of client requires a different level of lead gen. When I first started my copywriting business, I was definitely charging for my time. I didn't have expertise, but I knew enough to charge for my time. So I was charging maybe $2,500 for a website. That's not nothing, but that is still pretty undercharging for the amount of time it takes to write an entire website. And you know what? When I was sending out those $2,500 proposals, they were getting accepted. After I wrote a couple of those websites and I had some experience and testimonials and case studies under my belt, I thought, I'm gonna raise my prices. So I raised, again, just an average website project, like a 4 to 6 page website. I raised my prices to $4,000. Still pretty below industry standard, but definitely reflective of my experience and expertise up to that point. But all of those new $4,000 proposals got rejected. So my $2,500 proposals were accepted. But then once I actually had some experience and raised my prices to reflect that, I started getting hard no's because that was no longer in my client's budget. Because I was still using the exact same lead gen method to bring in the client who could afford a $2,500 website, but now I was trying to charge the $2,500 client $4,000 and they didn't have it. So before the next client inquired, I went back to the drawing board and changed a little bit about my business and then changed a lot about my lead gen so that I could actually be bringing in the clients that expected to pay and could pay the prices that I wanted to charge. And now after 4 years and a lot of copywriting projects and a lot of clients and testimonials and case studies and establishing some credibility and authority in my industry, I'm able to charge between $20,000 and $30,000 on average per copywriting project. But I couldn't do that if I was still getting on sales calls with people that didn't have $30,000 to spend on a funnel. So let's talk about the traditional methods of client lead gen and why they may not be working for the high ticket client that you want to be working with. Number 1 is the most obvious and the lowest hanging fruit, social media. I'm going to guess if you have been working with clients, it is likely that someone has reached out or slid into your DMs or inquired based on some content you have posted on social media. So I am not saying that that does not work. I'm saying that that doesn't work for the premium client. Remember, a different level of client requires a different level of lead gen. And what got you to where you are and what got you the clients you've had may not be the strategy to get you where you want to be next. And when you want to take the leap from working with clients with smaller budgets to larger businesses with larger budgets, larger audiences and lists, and better expectations, social media just ain't it. Think about the principles behind social media strategies. Social media requires you to add value, to share content, tips, tricks, tutorials that prove your expertise by teaching people what you know about what you do. By definition, you are speaking to DIYers because you are teaching them how to do what you do for themselves. The people consuming that content on a viral basis, liking it, scrolling through it, clicking on it, following you, checking up on you, having notifications set on your account, are looking to do these things for themselves because they cannot afford your services yet. Your next big client doesn't need or necessarily want to know how to write their sales page like an expert conversion copywriter or how to optimize their blog or their website for SEO. They want to find the expert that is best suited to do it for them. And even beyond that, we know, you know, as marketers, that the right advertising goes where the eyes of our audience are. That was not a grammatically correct sentence, just go with it. A multi-six-figure, a seven-figure CEO, the director of marketing of a busy organization is not sitting there scrolling TikTok or Instagram to find their next strategist or their next contractor. Even if they are on those channels, they are certainly not spending their time there looking for the referrals and the people that they're going to hire to generate ROI in their business. The reality is, for them, the stakes are higher. The budget is higher, but so is the potential for the ROI. So they need to go to a trusted source, not sit there and go through the search feature on TikTok or Instagram. And that actually brings me to the second lead gen strategy that I see a lot of copywriters using, which is growing an email list. Okay, I'm going to take a pause here. Growing an email list works. It is an excellent online marketing strategy for a scalable offer. Just like social media, you are using that strategy to grow a large audience for a scalable offer. If you're charging $10,000 to $20,000 on average per copywriting project, you need 5 to 10 clients a year to have a six-figure year. If you're selling a $200 offer, you need 500 buyers a year to have a six-figure year. And given that in the average funnel, the lead to sale conversion rate is 2 to 3%, that means at a minimum, you need 25,000 leads or followers in order to make that six figures. When you're selling something scalable, it is a numbers game. It is volume, 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 and you get volume through social media. I don't really use social media, but you get volume through social media or an email list through paid traffic. Also, the standard way of growing an email list, of course, there's a couple different creative ways of doing it, but the general standard way is by offering a freebie. Who is downloading freebies? People looking for a quick win and a DIY solution. Your next big client is not actively searching for a free template or a checklist or a PDF in order to accomplish their next big marketing campaign. They're looking for the expert to do it for them. So even if you see a copywriter who you really look up to and you really want to model your business after, actively using social media and actively growing their email list, do they have a scalable offer? That's probably what they're using that for. I have never once in 4 years gotten a client from social media or from my email list in 4 years. Okay, this next one might ruffle some feathers, but I felt kind of strongly about this, and it's okay if we don't agree. Cold pitching may not be the way to get your next big client. Some people swear by cold pitching. Some people do it really well, and some people even make an entire living or have an entire educational business teaching cold pitching. I'm not shitting on them, okay? If it works for you, if it works for your business, please do it. If it is not working for you, I'd like to suggest maybe why and give you some other alternatives that might work better. I think that cold pitching as a premium lead gen strategy could potentially be a little problematic. If you are specifically trying to reach marketing managers at a really, really big firm and they're super busy and they are never going to even have time to ask for a referral or go out looking for you or seek you out in any way and they need you to land in their inbox, then maybe this is the best strategy for you. You have to know your audience and you have to know your business. The reason I don't like cold pitching is because I don't like the numbers on it. It is a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm going to spend all of my time researching this company or this brand or this person, crafting this pitch, making it a really, really good pitch, only to send it to one person and hope that they read it and hope that they respond to it and then maybe follow up. So that one pitch goes to one place and it lives or dies there. I don't like those numbers. 2, it creates a power dynamic that I am not comfortable with. I don't want to have a relationship with my clients where it starts by me asking for a favor, me asking for them to work with me. I don't want to be a training ground. I want to be their peer. I want to be their partner. I want them to want to work with me, to partner with me, to work together, to collaborate on their project. And I want the clients that I work with to want an expert and to want a peer, to see me at the same level as them, not as someone who is asking for a favor. The final reason I don't like cold pitching is because I have never received a cold pitch that I've liked. Of course, there are many ways of writing a cold pitch, but the most standard way is by pointing out something that somebody is doing wrong that you could help them with. That does not feel good to have somebody land in your inbox telling you that you're doing something wrong. That immediately makes the receiver feel defensive, and quite frankly, it puts a bad taste in their mouth. I don't want to work with someone who's just saying you're doing this thing wrong and I can help you. I likely know that I'm doing that thing wrong and either have not fixed it because I don't have the support, the capacity, the time, the budget for whatever reason, but having someone come in and treat me like I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not an expert and they're the only one who can know what they're doing, it doesn't feel good. And maybe that speaks to my ego, but I don't like it when I get those pitches, and I don't want to create a relationship that starts with me telling someone, you're doing this thing wrong, you need my help. I want to enter into the relationship with a spirit of collaboration where I am asking them, what is going on in your business? You tell me what you see, you identify the problem to me, and tell me how you think I can be the most helpful. I'll tell you what I see, and we'll figure out what we can do together that's better than what we could do separately. All right, this one's a little old school, but you've probably heard to get into like a Facebook group where your target audience is, your ideal client is, or get on like an Instagram thread and just add value. Look, that's how I got my first clients. It absolutely works when you're just starting out, but the people hanging out in a Facebook group or commenting on Instagram, looking for information, asking questions, trying to do something themselves that are going to really, really get excited about your answer and see you as an expert, they are not the people with an established business and a higher budget. They are entry-level clients. That is okay if that's where you get your first few clients, but that's not where we're going when we move to the next level. Okay, if you've zoned out, come back in because I'm going to beg you to stop doing free or traded work to try to get a testimonial, a case study, or just experience. I don't care where you are in your business. I do not recommend this as a beginner or an intermediate or an expert level strategy. Do not do free or traded work. I am 1000% unavailable for free work. If someone does not want to, cannot pay, or does not see a reason to pay the price tag, then they are not my client. And that person's testimonial or case study will not speak to the people that I want to bring in. Why would I be sharing that work in order to bring in more work when that's not going to attract the people that I want to work with? It doesn't make sense. Also, if you want to raise your prices, you're starting the bar at 0. 0 times 3 is still 0. If you're tripling your prices from nothing, you still have nothing. It sets a really bad precedent and a really bad expectation if you want to move that into paid work. It's not likely that the person is going to magically have a budget. Even if you were able to give them ROI, they probably need that for their business. They're not going to be able to turn around and magically pump $5,000, $10,000 into a copywriter. And if they're telling you that it is your job to make their company the money that they need to make just to hire you, they've got bigger problems and you do not want anything to do with that, believe me. And this doesn't mean that you can't be generous with your talents and your gifts, because I'm not talking about that. Also, I know that if you're watching this, you may not necessarily be a white man or a white woman, or cisgendered or heterosexual, or a cultural majority. But if you are accepting free work, you are causing harm and perpetuating a systemic oppression based on implicit or explicit bias. Yes, women earn on average 82 cents on every $1 a man makes, but it gets way worse than that. White women earn 79 cents for every dollar that their white male counterpart makes. Black women earn 64 cents for every $1 that their white male counterpart makes. Hispanic women earn 57 cents for every $1 that their white male counterpart makes. And people in the LGBTQ plus community earn only 90% of what their equivalent counterpart make. If you're a white man or white woman or a straight individual and you are willing to work for free, what does that mean for the people who do not look or live like you? It means they are in the negative. You fuck everyone over when you do free work. If you are privileged, it is your responsibility to set the bar higher to raise everyone up with you. And if you don't have experience, that's okay. Charge the experience you do have. I'm not talking about price gouging or coming out of the gate with a $5,000 price tag on an email when you've never written an email before. Charge for your experience. If it's your very first ad ever, $50. Your very first email ever, $100. Your very first sales page ever, $800. You're still going to spend time writing it, and they hired you because you can do it better than they can. So charge for your time, charge for your expertise, but also increase your prices as you go. And the last few that I'll just go down is networking. I think networking is gross. I don't want to meet people with the intent of figuring out what they can do for me and what I can do for them. That's gross, not going to do it. Using a website or SEO, it takes a really long time to get that organic marketing up and get traction. So maybe not recommended as a lead gen strategy when you need some qualified high ticket leads this year. Upwork or Fiverr, the people on there are usually looking for really cheap work. No thanks, it's a hard pass for me. Starting a podcast or YouTube, this one's a little hit or miss. Similar to social media or an email list, you're likely to attract people who are looking for a DIY solution. However, if somebody hears your name somewhere else and then they want to go and Google you and search you and just find out all there is to know about you, and you have like a body of work built up, that can serve as your audition. Your YouTube channel, your podcast, even your website can be your audition, your callback after they meet you for the first time, and the thing that makes them know without a doubt they are inquiring, and before even the sales call, they are hiring you, no doubt in their mind. But unless you're able to grow a really large established audience and share that intermediate to advanced level content and grow an audience of your ideal client, it's not likely that you're going to see a ton of lead gen just from that channel. All right, so there's part one. Comment below your biggest takeaway. Let's keep the conversation going. Feel free to disagree with me. I'd love to chat. And make sure to subscribe so that you get notified when part two drops, because I am giving you the solution and how I have generated on average $180,000 to $200,000 in client work alone for the last 3 years. With a marketing budget of $0, working with only 5 to 10 clients a year that I absolutely love. So make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in part two.